Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of our Ed Talk series. Today, we want to give a very warm welcome to all those colleagues that are joining us from Finland. It is a great pleasure to have you with us today. I am Andrea Ferrari, founder and CEO at Whole Schools International, and with my partner, Gabriela Gonzalez Pacheco, Director of Programs, we have created this very innovative space to inspire conversations around education during this changing time. Education is transforming, and at Whole Schools, we believe that it is well-being, equity, happiness, and certainly innovation, the keys to a sustainable change that are future-proof and that can face the challenges of the short and the long-term consequences. For this reason, we gather in this space with our educational experts and leaders to guide us with their international perspectives and inform our educational communities, our schools, our parents, our teachers, and certainly our students, so that together we can co-create the new landscape in education. Today we are honored, and it is a great privilege to have with us Johanna Hokkanen from Finland. Johanna is the district leader of schools in the city of Vantaa in the outskirts of Helsinki. Welcome, Johanna. It is lovely to have you this morning.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
We're very excited to have you and to have this proximity with the practices that are happening now in Finland, and wanted to have a conversation with you about the reflections on reopening and going back to school. How has it been for you as a district leader? What are some of the different things that you have seen and experienced being in Vantaa in Finland?
Thank you. I don't know what is the situation with you there, but we have been luckily to have students in classrooms in already last holidays. So we have been at schools in classrooms since 2 months. However, there has been a lot of special arrangements, and teachers and headmasters have been quite overwhelmed about the workload in schools. There has been a lot of work, how to get all the pupils and families back to the schools and groups. And then we have also hired some extra teachers to work with groups and teachers to help those pupils who need extra support. And this year we have been able to begin almost normal schedule and routines already at school. Nowadays we ask the teachers and headmasters keep the groups by themselves, so that we try to avoid contacts at the school level, to be able to keep the schools open. Of course, there has been in some areas, some groups and schools that quite a lot of people in some schools or pupils have been studying at home for a while. But we are considering a lot, discussing about the topic that how can we emphasize students or teachers' well-being this year. And we have to listen all the signals, also those weak signals in teachers' room, to be able to react, and we try to be proactive to help the teachers and headmasters to take care about the pupils and groups at the school levels. Many small things and arrangements also at the level of schools.
It might seem small, but we understand that behind all of this production, there's a tremendous logistic, tremendous thought and care going towards the articulation of protocols. And you ask about our situation, we've also just now come back to school with a heavy emphasis on planning for any kind of scenario, correct? Because even though the intention is to be in presence or face-to-face in the school building, we understand that we need to also have the flexibility to go into a hybrid mode, right? So some of our students are studying remotely and some of them are in the school buildings. And this is what makes it, as you said, so challenging, right? Because we need all this extra planning, extra maybe even staff, you mentioned that, extra support for teachers. And I'm very curious because you went straight into the topic of wellness or well-being, and we know that you are a leader that takes this very seriously, or has made many plans or provisions in order to develop this throughout the school year. Can you share with us perhaps one of your well-being practices? How is it that you look after the wellness of the teachers or of the students?
Yeah, and maybe you know already that in Finnish schools we have this extremely good thing that at this level of the school we have the school welfare groups. So the headmaster has the huge possibility to guide the welfare work at the level of school, because there are teachers, there are special education teachers, there are school healthcare nurses who takes care of the nurses, school psychologists, and then we call them social worker at the school level also. So the group is working every day at the level of the school. So this is the basic structure of the well-being work at the level of the school. So this group has been planning a lot of work at the level of school. Normally, in tens of the years, this group has been working in the school level, and we guide those groups to take care of the pupils, individual pupils, groups, and mainly we work at the group level with those with these staff. So there are at the same time in the classroom teachers, pedagogical staff, and then there is the social workers or psychologists working together, taking care of the groups, giving well-being and mental health issue, for example, those soft skills lessons for the pupils. So they are not teachers are working alone with the groups. What they have those school healthcare groups staff with them at the same time. And I think that this is very important, and this is very good structure in our school and in our system. So this is the basic. And also we have support teachers in classroom. Bear in mind that there is a lot of stress and work already, how to take care about those basic Finns and math and English and all those basic work. So we took extra teachers. We work together with the school welfare group staff. And then in this year, we took some teachers at the level of the schools, and we introduced so-called well-being ambassadors. So they are teachers who are keen on how to help groups and pupils at the level of the schools. So the main task of those well-being teachers who also have their own group at the school, but they have a little bit time in weekly timetable that they support teachers and students. And for example, they give support to those teachers who, for example, find difficult to collect data, for example, about the group welfare things. So they are helping teachers to take care about the groups. And then, what should I say more? The main idea in this year while coming back from this Corona time, how to help pupils connect themselves to the group, how to get all the pupils back to the groups, because we think that if there is well-being in the group level, this is the main key to keep them at the school and not to force them drop out from the school. So we try to put a lot of effort to the group's well-being this year, if I put in small boxes the main idea.
It sounds like a deep attention to social and emotional learning, right?
Yes.
And the way that it seems apparent to me, you mentioned a key word here, which it's a daunting task, I know, but to collect data. Gabriela and I are very keen on this idea that what you cannot measure, you cannot manage. And by you having data at the center of what you're doing, collecting this data, you're able to then manage what is going on in the groups, correct? I'm wondering how this data is then produced, amassed, and how the welfare data impacts on your planning, on the practice, and to do this kind of work, to integrate the students, to work on the connection of the group, which is fundamental, right? So maybe tell us a little bit more about your welfare data and how you will use that throughout the year. What sort of impacts, or what are you trying to emphasize with this?
Yeah, we are in the very beginning how to collect data of the group's welfare in school day application. We have been having a pilot in last springtime. So we made a pilot with 4 schools, and in this pilot we collected the well-being data by school day app or application. In recent years, we used to collect data by different paper questionnaire or asking students and teachers about well-being, because we have been focusing quite many years about pupils and students' well-being. But now the school day application is a new way, and the pupils are giving the answer once in a week to those questions about OECD, well-being. What's the right correct name of this? There are OECD well-being
dimensions for the
dimensions, yeah. And one pupil give the answer once in a week, and it takes about 10 minutes, 5 minutes. The pupils are quite keen on giving the answer by the phone of themselves or by the computer at the school. And we collect the information we begin all the 4th graders and all the 7th graders, and then teacher will get the information once in a week. He will get the information about what are the what is the data about these 4 dimensions about well-being, and then the school day app helps the teachers to react to this feedback. So we try to help with these applications teachers to lead the group, and there are also some cards that the teacher will get that these topics are doing well, and the pupils are giving a good feedback to the group about the well-being, about the social connections at school, about the social connections at home, about sleeping, eating, making sports. And then it gives a card and information about what are the weakest dimensions. And then the teacher can make some discussion and extra lesson to the groups and pupils about those topics. What are the good ones, and what are the not so good feedback after 1 week. And we ask teachers once in a week, make this discussion. So they make the answer once in a week, and once in a week they make the discussion about those topics. And by this way, we think that the pupils learn a lot about the topics of the well-being, so they can lead themselves better and have a good sleep and good meals and eating at school and having a good relationships and those things. At the second level, at the school level, the headmaster and the student welfare group have the possibility to see the welfare or the well-being about all the group at the school level. And they can lead the work at the school level, so they can know that, for example, 4B, they have some problems, they have some weak results. So maybe we will ask that the school psychologist or school social worker goes with the teacher to the groups, and they make some group work, or they make some negotiation about how to help the group to get better results or the better well-being in the group level. And then there is the third level, and this is the city level. And the city level, we follow the results of the schools. Once in a month, we look the level of the schools, and then we try to. We are very in the beginning in this work, so we don't know exactly what we are going to do with the collected data, but we are trying to learn more about this, and we are trying to support those schools who seems to need some extra support, for example, or who needs some extra support by guiding the leadership of the school, or guiding the teachers, or giving them extra resources, maybe in some cases. So there are three levels: the group level, the school level, and the city level. We are collecting the data, and we are trying and practicing how to lead with this collected data.
Joanna, could you draw a comparison from the work, how you used to do it before implementing the app, and now that you have, you're doing it this way? What were the gains? What were some of the improvements of implementing this?
What do you mean improvement? How do you?
Did you see an improvement? Did you see an advantage of doing it now through the app, and instead of the old way you were doing it, through some questionnaires and all this other way that you were handling before?
Yeah, so we are very beginning, but of course in this pilot we work with the springtime. It's easy. It's very easy and simple, and it's very pupils are very keen on answering those. They can answer in phones, and it's very easy to use. Also the teachers, because you can have the data to your computer, and this is new data. This is not 1 month old already, so it's easy to answer, and then it's fresh new data, and you can follow it weekly. So we think that this is very flexible and good way to work and collect data. This should be, we should use those database data-driven leadership tools more, we think nowadays, but we begin with this well-being app now.
Okay. Yes, so the speed with which you get the information allows you a faster intervention.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, of course, I love that.
Well, it sounds to me that when you have the information at hand, then you're able to prioritize the things that the students are saying in a way that is different from when we plan, let's say, from the knowledge that we need to focus on these different dimensions that you said, which were the academic well-being, the social relationships, the physical well-being. But having that information coming straight from the students would allow us then to plan an intervention that is both timely, as Gabriela was suggesting, but also authentic because it comes from the specific need of the students that week that you're measuring it, correct? And I'm very interested in the level one of the intervention that comes from the students learning how to care for themselves, and understanding where well-being comes from and how I can better take care of myself. I would imagine is in and of itself a motivation for the older students. What about the younger students? Because my understanding is that one of the advantages of the app, or the way that you have allowed for the students to engage, is somehow through play or through a gamified approach. Can you talk a little bit about this and how that appeals to the younger students in the community?
Yeah. Well, when we had the pilot in springtime, we made the pilot by third graders. So they are in Finland 8 years old or 9 years old pupils. And some of the questions were too difficult for them to ask. They didn't understand all the questions so far. Teacher tried to help them. So because of that, we made the decision that we took fourth graders. So we would like to test the system in one class in the lower level and one class in secondary level. So in seventh graders in Finland, they quite often moved or they changed the group. Maybe they changed the school also. So we think that it's very important to get a good beginning at the level 7, so to get good 3 years in upper secondary school. But those youngsters, this is very, the children are keen on this program or application because they get also own feedback about the own answers. So they can get feedback, for example, that you are doing a good sport, but you don't sleep enough, for example, or you don't, the school task seems to be tough for you. Have you been asking help for teachers, for example? So I think that the fourth graders, it's easier for them to answer because there are 20 questions per week. So they are enough big to read the questions and answer the questions, and then they get the personal feedback. So it's the question of motivation also when they get the own feedback. And then they are keenly waiting that what are the feedback for the whole group. So there are the personal feedback and the group feedback. I think that we will make the evaluation in the end of this season. So we know more about how those fourth graders, what they thought about the application, but it seems to be easy to take to the whole group, and it seems to be easy for them to answer also. But I know more about it in the end of the season.
Excellent. Well, we're looking forward to those results because it is our understanding, and from what we've seen, that when children feel good, they will learn better. And
that's the question, yeah.
Yeah. So under that assumption or that belief, is it something that you are able to see already from these early stages, that it has impacted the way that students engage with their learning? Has it made a difference so far in how they are feeling about school and feeling about being in school? Do they feel more valued, would you say?
I think that we made the evaluation after the pilot, and when we met the groups of the pupils and made the interview, we made a pilot evaluation so that we interviewed a group of pupils. So, and I was listening some groups interview. I think that they were very keen on the results of the groups. And if there were some teachers that doesn't have enough time to go through those results weekly, so the teachers get quite bad feedback that this is the most important thing to give the feedback to the group. So I think that the pupils are they are keen on of the well-being things of the groups and themselves. And I don't. It's quite early to say more. I think in this position, because we are in the beginning. But seems to be that they are keen on answering. They are keen on results. And but it's too early to say about something about the, for example, achievements in academic skills or something like that. I can't say more about that in this point of view. We are trying to be more to know more about that, but we are in a beginning in this point.
We understand, but something that you are very knowledgeable about and that we're also very keen on is the component of the teachers and their well-being and how this, for example, may help them. You spoke a lot about giving them extra support. We're very curious to know, and for our teachers in the audience, what are some of the things that as a district leader you find fundamental and during this time, and that you would recommend to prioritize in order for us to really foster that component that is so important, the teachers' well-being? How do we go about this?
Yeah. The teachers' well-being is very important to us, and we are trying to find the solutions to these topics. And we know that teachers work nowadays a lot, as you know, because of all those extra needs of pupils. So they need to make extra lessons and all kind of extra task for those pupils or who need extra support. Those the basic message is that there is a lot of basic work, and we are keen on teachers' well-being. So we gave those well-being ambassadors to the level of school. This was one topic, and now we are looking forward to be able to measure and support teachers' well-being also with this school day app. We will do that twice or 3 times in this year. And the first time we will ask the well-being of the teachers in the end of this month or in the beginning of October, if I remember right. So, and in the end of this year and once in the springtime. So we know more about teachers' well-being after these measurements. But I think that in Finnish schools, we always discuss about the main topics, that there need to be excellent leadership at schools, that this is the basic things of the teacher's well-being. Good leadership, how we support from city level, that the headmasters can have good tools, and they have enough data, they have enough resources, they have enough knowledge and ideas about make excellent leadership. And then in Finnish schools, we try to make excellent good structures. For example, the school welfare group work together with teachers. And then in Vantaa especially, we try to make clear goals. For example, this year we put the goals well-being, how to give support, and of course, always the digitalization is one goal. So we put only 3 goals, and we try to keep on these 3 goals this year. So well-being, how to support pupils, and how to make digitalization, for example, collect data. And then we are practicing in Finland quite a lot how to give positive feedback, to the teachers, to the teams, between teachers and pupils, between teams and headmasters. So how we are practicing this positive feedback, positive education. Maybe this is the most new innovation in Finnish schools, that we are practicing that.
Joanna, could I ask you one question? If you had to choose, what would you say is an essential quality for good leadership in the school, within the school? Because you were saying that one of the keys for teacher well-being is the leadership of those in charge of those teacher teams. But what would you say is that essential thing that a school leader must have in order to to be able to take care of its team and just guide them through this stage.
Big ears. If I would say one thing, so I think that I tried to say that we are in the city level trying to listen to weak signals. I think that the headmaster's most important thing is to listen signals, weak signals or strong signals of the teachers. So good teachers are well-being and doing at the teacher's room so well. The groups and pupils are well-being at the class level. And the families behind that.
What a great question, Gabi, and what a great answer. Big ears. I just want to emphasize that when a leader develops a very close relationship to the teams and those around them, it comes from listening, correct? You have said that really well, and it reminds us how an interactive or participatory leadership where the leader really values the opinions of others and really builds and constructs their leadership and the decision making based on the needs of others. It really creates an environment of empathy, sympathy, and thank you for reminding us that these qualities are what makes you go above and beyond, rise above and beyond any challenge that we might be facing. What a wonderful way to end our conversation today. I don't know if there's anything more, Johanna, before we say farewell that you would like to leave us with. Any advice for those teachers that are listening or for those leaders that are listening from Finland?
What should I say? I say take good care of you. I hope all the best to you when arranging schooling in this tough time. So we are doing that together here in Finland, you there. Good luck for you. Good luck for us. Take care of us.
Thank you.
Thank you for ending on such a positive note. We really appreciate it. Yes.
Have a good time there and good school year.
Thanks for you too, Johanna. A big hug from Mexico to Finland. Thank you for
Thank you. Bye.